Okay, hi everyone and welcome to TechTok, a weekly mini video series talking tech topics. Today I am joined by Raphaël Goncalves, who is a senior software engineer at Spectrm and also leads the developer community here in Berlin. Hi Raphaël, how are you doing?
Hi, very good, and you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining us today. So Raphaël has been leading a developer community for 3 years now. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about this, how you got involved with it and why you were interested in doing so.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have an hour, so I will try to keep it short. So basically, I'm working for that company in Berlin, Spectrm, for like 3 years, 4 years almost. And we work with the Facebook platform and mostly Messenger. So like every year we are listening to that conference from Facebook, FA. And I was listening to that, and 3 years ago they announced that they wanted to launch those online communities, those developer communities. And they wanted to focus on online and offline events. And those communities were led by local developers. So after the conference, I just checked online, basically, if we had a community in Berlin, and unfortunately we didn't. So actually there was a link to apply, and I said, okay, why not applying? Because actually the thing is, I'm a self-taught developer, so I know how communities are very important, basically, to learn new skills. Yeah. And I wanted to help actually like developers or young developers in Berlin. So that's why I applied actually.
Cool, sounds good, sounds good. So since obviously the pandemic, like the rest of the world, you've had to go remote with your events and do these online. So what have you found the biggest challenge to be when running online events?
I think the biggest challenge obviously is the promotion for us, because it's very different basically of promoting an online event and promoting an offline event. The good thing about our community is, since the very beginning we were basically having online and offline. So we had an online group and we were hosting those offline events. So basically we could use that to help promoting and those kind of stuff. But obviously that's the most complicated challenge we faced, basically. But like, I guess at that time, a lot of different communities were trying to work together and trying to do stuff together. So that was actually a very nice thing to do here in Berlin.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And what type of event do you think brings more value to the developer community? The online events or the traditional in-person meetups?
Yeah, like everything, it's not black and white. I think it's a bit of both. So actually online, I think it's very interesting for developers when they want to get trained, for example. So I can watch the video if it's a live event, I can ask questions and like there's still some interaction. And actually I can also do something else at the same time and like rewatch the video later. So actually that's the nice part of it. So I think for training, online is very nice. But the thing is, offline is a bit more, I think it's a bit better in the sense that you can host the same kind of events, but I think online you miss that part, which was very interesting for me, is the networking part. So all that part where basically the attendance is also talking to each other and trying to connect. And actually, I think online is not possible or very difficult, while offline. So I think like a bit of both, I would say.
Yeah, depending on what the type of event is, I suppose, and the need for it. Yeah, for sure. I think we have a similar situation with the events that we run as well. Okay, cool. So when things, at the moment, things are in a bit of an in-between stage, aren't they? I think you mentioned this in your article. So in terms of like, people are not stuck at home anymore, but they also can't go to in-person events. So what do you see the kind of future or the next 6 months, the kind of near future being with these type of events, and how do you think you'll manage this?
Yeah, that's actually the difficult part. So basically we are not really in the lockdown situation anymore. But for example, my community, when we were hosting events, we were partnering with bootcamps, schools, or even startups or companies here in Berlin. But obviously, even though the lockdown are not that strict anymore, those companies still try to promote remote work, and they don't necessarily want to host events like by the end of the year or maybe next year. So I think we will be, at least as a community, I will be stuck to do online events most of the time, like until the end of the year for sure. Or maybe trying to do some networking event, but that's always the tricky point where, okay, should we, try to have like 20 people at the same place? So I think I will just try to continue doing online events, but maybe not like I was doing during the lockdown, because during the lockdown, nobody had to do anything. So basically every week I could do an event. Now it's more like I will do that maybe once a month, trying to try different concepts, different topics. But I think it will be like that until, to be honest, the end of the year, maybe a bit next year also. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. And when things do kind of return back to normal, do you still think you'll run as many online events, and will there still be a place for this, or do you think this has changed the way people are going to do events now, or is it going to completely go back to normal, do you think?
I think it will change a bit, to be honest, but it will depend how long the situation will last, in my opinion. Yeah. But I would say companies really understand that now, like remote work is actually a thing, and maybe they don't need to have a huge office anymore or something like that. So we might see like a lot of people moving around or like staying at home. So I think I will continue trying to keep that online community alive and doing maybe like a live time to time. But I still want to do those offline events time to time. And again, because it's what I said earlier, I think it's the networking part is actually a very important part in my opinion. Yeah. And I also discussed with like junior developer in my community that were basically missing that connection with senior developer, and actually that was the way for them to connect with more senior people. So I think I really hope that we can do that soonish. But I think it will be a mix of both. Actually, I want to keep going with this online thing and like trying to go back to a normal situation where we can do events again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what we've said as a company as well, that we'll probably do a mix. We've only just started doing virtual events when, after the pandemic, and it's good. You get a good mix for sure, but I think we'll also do the same depending on what they are. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing your thoughts with that. I'm going to share Raphael's article in the comments, and also in his article, it has details of how you could join the developer community if you're interested in joining. And I'll also share Raphael's LinkedIn as well, so you can reach him directly if you want to chat to him about it as well. So thanks everyone for watching, and thanks Raphael for joining us today.
Thank you.
Later.